What's up, everybody? Aaron the dog here, along with Brandon of MMA Wagers, and we are here to break down yet another PFL number 3 to be exact. And this week it's heavyweights and women lightweights, which is going to be interesting to say. Basically, the Kayla Harrison division, if we are just being more accurate with
the women's division. They don't have a bantamweight or featherweight. It's just the women's division.
I mean, Kayla Harrison has never fought lower than this weight, I don't believe. So
her last fight was 145, but she said she hated it. She hated it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I forgot. Yeah, but yeah, she's basically the best in I don't want to say only, but one of the only women lightweights in the world. But she is by far the best. She's an incredible talent.
Maybe if Gabby Garcia could drop to 155, it'd be interesting.
Yeah. I mean, there's not many other interesting fights for her, if we're being honest. But
no,
it is
honestly, if Amanda Nunes could go up to 155 and beat her, I think
I'd love to see it, and I believe they're both at American Top Team. So
that's another thing. But she did say she would fight her eventually if the opportunity arose.
Yeah. There's Clarissa Shields. There's a few others, but it is a very short list.
Clarissa isn't fighting this PFL.
No, but she is not.
I wish she was. I was looking forward to that.
I think she's maybe getting kind of the treatment like Lonahan got last year, a few showcase fights. Which at 0-0 is fine with me.
And she just had a boxing fight like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and she dominated.
But that's the co-main event. The main event, Fabricio Werdum's PFL debut. Anthony Pettis' PFL debut went less than stellar against a guy who had been off for a few years.
But he was boxing.
Yeah, but exactly. But and Werdum's taking out a guy who's been off for a few years. And Renan Ferreira, if you've...
he hasn't been boxing or anything.
No, but if you watch LFA, you should be familiar with him. Yep. He's been around for a little bit. That's the main event and co-main event. It's a 9-fight card now. We did get news of, I believe it was who
Oli Asayev.
Yeah. So Isayev, the heavyweight winner of last year's tournament.
And they're putting another match together actually as we speak. So I'll update you if we get that matchup.
Yeah. If we hear that, we'll break it down. But we got 9 other fights to break down here. We are going with, the split screen is back.
Professional at this point.
Yeah, something like that.
Do you have your pen ready? You better have your pen ready. We to get those.
I do have my pen ready.
All right.
And because
people want it, man. If the people ask, then we give. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And we did go 8 for 8 on our last PFL card. And
the Dan Spawn fight I didn't pick, but you were spot on. So kudos, my friend. Kudos.
So this week we'll try to
Hamlet dominated.
Yeah, and you're not gonna see him at a minus 140 again.
No,
especially against a guy like Daniel Spawn. That was a coming out party. But this is gonna be a little bit more interesting of a card to break down. We're starting with one of the closest fights of the night, and it's Helena.
I don't know the odds, just to let you know. I want it to be a surprise. I know the odds somewhat, but not really.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying in general, this is a tough fight to break down.
Okay.
Helena Kolesnyk taking on Taylor Guardado. Taylor Guardado, 0-1. She lost to Tanisha Tennant in her pro debut. Tanisha Tennant went on to take Daniel Wolf to a decision on the Contender Series.
And that was a bullshit decision. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I agree. But definitely decent debut. She also has 2 wins in the Invicta Phoenix series, which is 2-round fights. They were both in the same night. I believe that they're 1-round fights.
And Tanisha, that was all in one night. 3 fights in one night. She was the finalist in that tournament.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and so and that was last year. She's been off for a year. She does have some good amateur experience, but that's all back in 2011.
What'd she do for 9 years? What the hell?
I'm not really sure.
Doesn't make sense, man.
Yeah, so I was able to watch her fight. She trains out of Extreme Couture. She's going to try to pressure forward, throw maybe a little bit of strikes, but her striking isn't. It's more her cage pressure and control. I just don't expect this to be exactly explosive if it is to go her way. And then we have Helena Kolesnyk out of she's fighting out of Thailand now. She fights out of Tiger Muay Thai, which I like. She's lost to only good competition in Pan Sorensen and Felicia Spencer, both finishing her with submissions. Other than that, I haven't really heard of anybody she's faced on her record, but she has finished all of those opponents. And they're all coming pretty recently, but she has been off since 2018. No amateur experience. So, yeah, it's just this one's kind of just, I think, a complete coin flip. Are you going with the cage pressure or the better striking in Kolesnyk? I'll go with the Tiger Muay Thai product. I'm not 100% sure if she's still training on Tiger Muay Thai at this point. She has not fought since 2018. There is definitely a lot that I'm a little concerned with, like 7 fights to 1 fight, but Taylor has the amateur experience, but then didn't fight for 9 years. So a whole lot I don't knows here. I'm not crazy about it. It almost feels like they're just finding people to fill out the edge of this tournament. And, I'll take the better technical striker in Helena.
Yeah,
no idea.
Taylor, when I saw 0-1, I'm like, why is she even in the tournament? But it was because she was in that one-night tournament in Invicta where she
essentially 2-1. Yeah, essentially 2-1.
Essentially 2-1, yeah, because one of those were split though. She almost didn't even make it to the finals. She did lose a split to let me find out her name, Serena de Jesus.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, she did. I don't know what happened in those 9 years. She
my girl, what's up?
What? She's commenting?
We have our listeners chime in. What's up, gentlemen? I think
Boston,
that's mostly to
you put these bets down and make some money, okay?
Yeah, she doesn't bet on the fights. She doesn't bet on the fights. She's in it for the love only. But we do.
$1 on a parlay, you might make $100. Let's go. My girlfriend does it all the time. She does DraftKings. She loves it, man. She'll do research as soon as the UFC's going. She'll do research for the next UFC. Isn't that funny?
That is just inspiring.
That's a diamond in the rough right there.
A diamond. Like a true diamond. I know a diamond.
But I'm just saying,
I know one of those.
We went 8-8 last week, so let's keep the streak going. Taylor is, like I said, she did lose her professional debut, but it was off a tournament, winning 2 fights, both by decision. She took 9 years off. I like this Helena Kolesnyk. I think that might be it. Let's hit up John Anik and find out. But she was plus 105 loss. She did lose as an underdog, but that was to PM Sorensen, who's an experienced woman fighter. Felicia Spencer, who's like one of the best featherweights. I'm not saying that's a huge accomplishment, but she is one of the best featherweights in the UFC out of the 5 featherweights.
Yeah, she's top 5.
She's top 5 out of the 5. But she's a big girl, man, and she's good at grappling.
The other thing with Guardado is she fought her last 3 fights at bantamweight. She is not a natural even featherweight, and this is not lightweight. At least Helena fought at featherweight in her last few fights.
Yeah, she missed weight her last fight, so this is probably a good move. She's like, what other avenue do I have? No other promotions have a women's lightweight division. Nope. So I'm going to join PFL and take $1 million.
The Harrison weight.
The Harrison weight, yeah. Kayla Harrison said Larissa Pacheco is still the most what's the word? Just the most intimidating fighter, the most experienced fighter that can probably win the $1 million. But there's a lot of new girls coming in. And Helena
Pacheco is going to be second place. Like, sure, she's lost to Harrison twice already. She's going to lose again.
Yeah,
she will never beat Kayla Harrison. I'll say that on tape right now.
So I think that might be a little bit of wishful thinking for Kayla Harrison, hoping all these girls are less skilled than Larissa Pacheco. But I honestly think Helena might be the real deal. Like, she took almost 3 years off, and I think that's to train her grappling, because she lost 2 fights in a row by submission, and she's an extremely good striker. So I can understand why she took this time off, because you want to train those holes in your game. And she trains with Lumalook Bumi, who we just saw. Like, she's a striking machine. Like, you get into the clinch and you're in trouble. And
there's a ton of very strong girls out at Tiger Muay Thai. I think it's one of the best female gyms in the world. Casey O'Neill came from there and now is dominating in the UFC and going to continue to. Claudia Diaz.
And I shouted out Lumalook Bumi last week on one of our videos. I said parlay her with anything.
You did,
I was a little worried going to that 3rd round. I'm like, because those judges were really off point, that UFC. I'm just going to throw that out there as a side note.
Yeah.
So I was very worried. Every time the fight went the distance, I was worried. I had TJ Brown as an underdog, but I had Kai winning 30-27, so I'm very happy TJ won. But I had Kai winning 30-27.
Yep.
But,
we're going to focus here on PFL. We both got Helena.
Yeah, exactly, man. Tiger Muay Thai all the way.
I do think Helena can get a finish. I just am not confident on the shape Taylor's going to coming in 2 weight classes higher for the first time in 0-1 or 2-1. Finally, Kevin Weeks is here. I was worried. Our boy Kevin.
There's our boy Kevin. I saw him. He joined your UFC breakdown last week. So
exactly. At least somebody did. I'm so sorry. I'm not bitter or petty. The odds.
Helena's 100% finishing rate. I'm going to throw that out there. 4 out of her 5 wins are in round 1. 1 out of her 5 wins are in round 2. Taylor's been finished by Ronda Rousey as an amateur. So I don't really give her too much hate on that.
Not at all. And I don't think that's how Helena will finish. I'll assume Ronda finished by armbar. Helena, we've got a dog to start out our pick here. So
Helena's a dog.
So the comments last week that said, you went 8-8, but they're all favorites. It's like we have to make the picks. Like we pick who we pick. Like we're not picking favorites every week on here. You can
on UFC I picked several underdogs. It all depends on the matchup.
It depends on the card. If the card has all favorites, but we're starting out with a dog. I don't look at the odds until after I watch tape. Plus 110 for Helena. I love it. Let's give it a shot. Let's go. I think Taylor has recognition because of the Contender Series of her opponent losing to her, and people know. Invicta, people know about. That's my only guess.
Helena has a whole country behind her. Ukraine. She was born in Ukraine. She fights out of Thailand with the best women strikers. I don't understand. Plus 110. Let's take it. Let's go.
I'm taking a shot on the dog there.
I'm going to go to Bodog right now, actually, because I don't want to miss out on these underdog odds. But then you guys are going to comment next week, oh, your girl lost. Well, I don't care. I'm taking the value.
Yeah, go ahead. As long as you're commenting, I'd love to hear them. Next fight here is in the heavyweight division, and it's a good one. I'm not sure if this is going to be the order or not for the actual event, but on Tapology, it's Denis Goltsov taking on Justin Big Pretty Willis.
Big Titty, you mean?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Big Titty if you're Curtis Blades. So Chico's excited about this fight. Sorry about that.
That's a UFC fighter who shouldn't have got cut, in my opinion.
Yeah, but 33 years old. Definitely not the most exciting guy in his UFC career, so that probably hurt him a little bit. 6'1", 82-inch reach, which is surprising to me. I don't know where a lot of these AKA guys are training out of. Not AKA is closed, so that's one thing. But
I noticed you said something about AKA Thailand when I went to the washroom quick. That is still open with Mike Swick. So AKA Thailand is still
right, but
running.
But the main AKA is not open.
Not in San Jose, California. Yeah, they've all scattered.
But yeah, definitely a surprise cut from the UFC. He was 4-1 and only lost a wrestling match to Curtis Blades, which last I checked, there was no shame in that. You know, and he beat, Mark Hunt, wrestled Sherman, took down Mr. Crowder, and just take it away with your take. I just got to take care of something really quick with a dog, so I'll be right back.
Yeah, I absolutely don't agree with Justin Willis getting cut. He was 4 wins in a row in the UFC at heavyweight. Most fighters at heavyweight that go 4-0 are on the cusp of a heavyweight title. Don't you agree? If you go 4-0 in heavyweight, you're usually on the cusp of a UFC title, and they cut this guy after losing to a title contender. Or no, No. I don't think Curtis has ever fought for a title.
Just real quick. I don't want to lose this comment. Hey, Edwin Stratford says, going with Taylor. This is her walking around weight. She has excellent grappling skills. Yeah. Totally fair, man. I mean, it's a close fight.
How active she's been.
Yeah, it's the activity level, and just I just don't exactly understand the time off, and then 3 fights in one night. And I get
2 of those fights were only 1-round fights.
Right. And so there's just some gas issues. And while walking around weight is great on paper a lot, sometimes walking around weight means maybe the conditioning wasn't as much of a focus in the camp. And that's all. There's just a few things. I'm never crazy about picking a fighter who moves up a couple weight classes. It's a close fight. We're taking a gamble. We're taking the dog.
I just bet her live right now. Yeah. So,
but totally fair enough, Edwin. And now we're talking about the heavyweight fight.
And then Edwin, you tell us afterwards how dumb we are, okay?
Yeah. No, or whatever. Yeah, exactly. Whatever you want. But I mean, I definitely agree. Willis at 4-0 was on his way to a potential title shot or title run. Yeah. Especially if he would have beat Curtis Blades, which is still one of the toughest matchups in the division for anybody not named Francis Ngannou. Sure, or Derek, exactly, or the guy who's fighting Francis next for the title. And so, it's a tough break there. But Denis Goltsov, he's no joke, man. 25-6.
Look at the abs on him. Look at the
30
abs.
years old. Yeah, he's got nice.
Up a bit. Look, that's a heavyweight, guys.
Yeah, he's 6'5", weighs in at a nice, clean 239. Versus Justin Willis, who's weighed in at his last fight at 266. He did lose his last fight to Isiev. It was the second fight of the night after a really tough, close fight against Ishii. The thing with
Ishii on that.
with 1 second to go in the third round, he
was going to win.
And Isiev won $1 million on that.
No, what?
He essentially won $1 million on that because he went on to win the title against against the heavyweight title or championship against Josh Rochal. So it's like
the easiest matchup.
I mean, it took him to a 4th round. Isiev to a 4th round in that fight, but with Goltsov before that, that night,
and that was the fight that got canceled, guys. The heavyweight champion, unfortunately. It was medical issues on both parts, I heard.
Yeah, and before that, though, Goltsov had a really tough grappling heavy fight against Ishii, Saito Ishii, who is a shorter, stockier wrestler who really uses a lot of cage control. And when he got Goltsov onto his back, Goltsov really had nothing there. He is a classic big, tall man who's, when he can control the distance, when he can control that striking, he looks like he did against Kelvin Tiller. Knocked out Kelvin Tiller's mouthpiece 4 or 5 times in that fight. It was Jared Rochal, not Josh Rochal, sorry. And then He beat Jared Rochat very quickly with his hooks, hammer fists.
Really good wrestler.
But Rochat never got it into the wrestling realm. And when
that was like with Alexei Oleinik. I think Alexei Oleinik knocked out Jared Rochat, so that tells you the chin on Jared at this point.
Yeah, Jared usually has a pretty, questionable chin since it's getting rocked. But overall, Goltsov, really good movement, good boxing and everything. But if Willis does get it to the ground in 2 of the 3 rounds, I think he keeps it there once it gets down to the ground. Goltsov really looks like he has nothing from his back. So that's my biggest concern is that
He's got 10 submissions, though. That's the weird thing.
But it's just a kind of
3 arm bars and 2 triangles. He's got an Ezekiel.
Yeah, I just think relying on a triangle or arm bar against Willis is a little bit risky here. Willis has never been submitted. And
you're saying he can get 10 minutes of control time here.
Yeah, that's my concern without going overboard on Goltsov here. My pick is still going to be Goltsov. I do think that he uses a really, really sharp, crisp jab, just good movement overall, and keeps Willis off him and starts to out-condition him. But the fight against Ishii was a majority decision. I think this could be close similarly. And I get the feeling that Goltsov is probably a decent favorite, and Willis has faced extremely good competition, 4-1 in the highest of organizations. And, it's one more thing, Edwin is repping hard for his 0-1 Taylor Guardado here. Wouldn't do that coming out of Extreme Couture Conditioning.
It looks like Taylor's an attractive lady. That's another reason I think they signed her.
Well, definitely good luck to you too, Edwin. We'll see tomorrow how wrong we are or right we are. Neither one of us is experts in the
MMA. Anything can fucking happen.
And neither one of us is experts in the women's lightweight division yet. Give us a little slack there. But your thoughts on this fight.
Well, Justin Willis, initially I wanted to pick him because he's an underdog, and he had such a good UFC career. Like he went 4-1, and that's hard to do in the UFC heavyweight division. But at the same time, I'm looking at his opponents now. James Mulhern, I don't think he's even in the UFC anymore. He's in Bellator now. He also fought Mark Hunt, who has very bad conditioning. So if you can get one takedown on Mark Hunt, the fight's pretty much over. Chase Sherman, that was when Chase was a little unexperienced. He was more of a one-round fighter. He finally got into a better team, and Chase is a lot more refined nowadays. But he did get a decision over him. Alan Crowder, I don't think he's even in the UFC anymore. I think he went 0. I don't think he even won a fight in the UFC. Oh, he did
like a DQ
win. Sorry. That's like the Diego Sanchez win over Michelle Pereira.
Hey, a win's a win. Streaming line drive in the scorebook.
I'm going to throw this out here. I'm happy for Diego Sanchez. He got paid $211,000 for his departure. And if he fought Donald Cerrone, he would have just got knocked out and he wouldn't have got any money. So I'm telling you right now, this was the best route for him. I don't care what they say about Joshua Fabia.
Focus.
I know. I'm just saying Joshua Fabia is a weird guy, but they got the most money that they could have got because Donald Cerrone was going to head kick Diego into the fucking Netherlands or something.
Okay, PFL breakdown.
Denis Goltsov is legit, man. Like, he only lost to Ali Asiev, who ended up being the winner, and he would have won that fight. It was 1 second. That was like the Alexander Volkov versus Derek Lewis fight. It was just so unfortunate. I had money on Denis Goltsov, and I was going to cash some parlays. I think he was you couldn't even bet on him because that was the second fight. But I did bet on him against Satoshi Ishii. He was a -800 favorite. That's why you have to put him in some parlays. So getting him at -265 is actually kind of a kind of a treat here because I just don't have much faith in I like Justin Willis. He's a good guy. His opinions are kind of weird. Like, he's a big political guy, and a lot of the things he says are controversial. But he's a man of his word. I don't even know where he's training nowadays since American Kickboxing Academy has kind of dissolved. I'm gonna go with the more experienced Denis Goltsov, who reminds me of Yuri with a 25-6 record. You got to realize 31 professional fights. That's a big deal. And he's from Russia. He's going to want to get get back into the win column after losing by just 1 second. That's insane, eh? 1 second? I can't believe that.
I mean, it was a very close fight. It could have possibly gone Isaev's way, but probably not. But it was like
I had Denis winning that fight.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was most likely 29-28. But we both
we both have Denis. What's his odds?
Yeah, we both got Denis minus 215. I'm saying that. So a little bit of a plus 70, 170 on Willis. So I just think you look into that resume a little more, and Goltsov is better than most of the guys he beat. So we are going to move on now to Genah Fabian versus Laura Sanchez at 155, the women's lightweights here. This is actually probably one of the fights of the night I'm most excited about. I think this is going to be a really exciting fight. I like both these girls quite a bit. Laura Sanchez fighting out of Rufus Sport. She is 1-0, 6 foot. 6 foot fought her last fight at featherweight. Also has some good.
Holy.
Yep. All these girls, both of these girls are 6 foot in this fight. So she's coming off a win against Miranda Barber. It was a really impressive finish. Finished her with knees and punches. Miranda Barber fights out of American Top Team, but honestly, just had a serious length disadvantage. She is about 5'8" or 5'7". Very thick girl, but Laura dealt with the pressure well, and she was a little bit slow to start, like almost like a traditional Muay Thai practitioner. But once she started letting it go, she was landing and got the finish. I liked what I saw quite a bit. Obviously, this fight against Fabian is going to be much different in terms of the matchup because it's another 6 foot tall or 5'9", I'm sorry, individual in Genah Fabian. So it is a little bit similar. I thought she was a little bit taller myself, but Fabian, definitely a legit 155er. Fought last year in the lightweight tournament, went 2-1. She got kind of controlled against Bobby Joe Dazio, the Canadian, who was 4-0, but had 2 finishes in her other 2 fights, including against a 3-6 girl. This is, I think, a striker's delight, this one. I think both of these girls are going to look to implement their style of kickboxing. Laura Sanchez is a little more of a Muay Thai kickboxer, and Fabian, Australian, but more of a kind of a Dutch-style kickboxer. I just think this fight doesn't really touch the cage or the ground. I do think that Fabian is going to have more volume, going to be more active, and put the pressure on a little more. I love Laura Sanchez, though. I would love to see Sanchez be able to get started a little quicker here. But even a couple of her amateur fights, she's had a little bit of that Muay Thai slow start to her style. And I just think Fabian, 3 fights in the PFL cage now, she's going to be very confident, very comfortable. And having the shorter reach, being the 5'9" opponent against a 6 foot tall, look to crowd, look to get in there. Work the body a little bit, and I think she has the power advantage. So I'm going to take Fabian, but I like Sanchez a lot as well. I gotta go with my brain here.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I got Genah Fabian here. Laura Sanchez, another fighter that's only 1-0, coming into this
good amateur
tournament.
Experience though.
She does have some amateur experience, but a lot of the names you really can't rattle off that anybody would know.
True.
Miranda Barber, Macy Barber's sister. No, I don't think it's Macy Barber's sister.
No, it's not.
But yeah, it is a barber.
It is a barber, yes.
Around the same age as Macy, 26. I think Macy's maybe 22.
Yeah, I'll just go ahead and show everybody Miranda Barber. 26. Yeah, 26. She goes as the She-Hulk.
Yeah. And Laura did beat her by a knockout, knees and punches. So if Laura can get on the inside here, get the Muay Thai clinch, she could deliver some nasty striking. But Genah is a decorated kickboxer. She just took a boxing fight. It was an unfortunate ending with a clash of heads. I'm not sure who was winning at the time, but it kind of sucks that it ended that way. Genah's already got the PFL experience. She's 1-1 in PFL. Laura's making her PFL debut.
I think Genah's 2-1. I think Genah's 2-1 in PFL.
1-1. She's 1-0 in Bragging Rights Academy.
Oh, okay.
She's like I said, decorated kickboxer coming out of City Kickboxing. We know a lot of guys from there. Dan Hooker, Israel Adesanya. So yeah, she's gonna have a lot of support going into this. And I think she took the appropriate amount of time off to improve on her skills, just like we talked about on the first fight, right? Against this guy that's involved with Taylor. I think she took the right amount of time off. She's at a good gym. She's going to be sprawling and brawling. She's definitely going to learn some takedown defense. That's what she does. Like, that's what City Kickboxing does. You learn takedown defense so you can stay on your feet and piece people up. So I think Genah taking this a year and a half, or almost 2 years now. I think she's going to knock out Laura. I don't want to say she knocks her out, but it's definitely going to be a unanimous decision, 29-28, in my opinion.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Genah is the favorite at -200, plus 150 on Laura Sanchez. Again, I really like Laura Sanchez. I just think that Genah is the more legitimate lightweight fighter here. And I think the experience inside of the PFL and kind of how they're looking to judge the fight, I think is all important. So we're going to move on now to the next fight here. And we got a old school, like, women MMA founding members here. And Cindy Dandois taking on Kaitlin Young.
In every organization you can think of.
Yeah, Battle Cat, Cindy Dandois is now 36 and a half years old.
OnlyFans account if anybody's interested.
She's got an OnlyFans account. No, thank you. Battle Cat.
I'm with you there.
Battle Cat, yeah.
And I can't believe Jessica I $25 for an OnlyFans just to get a photo of her foot. That's what I heard.
Yeah. Whenever you put "that's what I heard" at the end of a sentence, it really makes it seem like you know way more about it than you're trying to. Like, you're trying to, like, at the end be like, "That's what I heard from my friend." It's like, I think you know. But if you are on Jessica I's OnlyFans and you're watching right now, I believe that you should be on a government watch list and you should not be allowed to make decisions because you are clearly not judgmentally sound. But back to this fight. Cindy Dandois, 5'7". She's going to be fighting at 155, so gotta love it. She's currently on a 3-4 fight win streak. All those fights happening in 2019. And the combined record of those 4 fighters is 1-4 for all 4 of them.
Not a lot of experience, no.
1-4 total for all 4 of them. She got a couple of triangle chokes. She got an arm lock, rear naked choke. She looks like a submission wizard all of a sudden against she's a wizard, Harry.
That's what they do in boxing, though. They give a big opponent shit opponent.
I mean, but then she decided not to fight in 2020. It's fine. Yeah. She had a website to work on, and the pandemic. Now she's fighting Kaitlin Young. Kaitlin Young has, I think, what the French call a salty record, 11-10-1. 11-10-1, 35-year-old here taking on the 36-year-old. She's fought over in Invicta for quite a while, or for 4 fights. Went 3-1, lost to Pam Sorensen again. So Pam Sorensen should be in this tournament apparently. But
yeah, really,
she's got to win over her. But at least she's got a little bit. I mean, she beat a 5-1 girl, a 6-3 girl, and Faith McMaw. A 5-4 girl. She's got to win over a 9-1 girl. She's lost to Lauren Murphy, Leslie Smith. Went to a draw with Leslie Smith in a good fight in Invicta's first ever card. Lost to Liz Carmouche. I just think that Kaitlin Young has faced the more legitimate opponents, and I think that she's just more in the MMA game. So I'm going to go Kaitlin Young. Maybe I'm wrong here, but I just think I know Cindy Dandois is 60-5. She's got a submission win over or a knockout win over Megan Anderson.
Triangle choke win.
Triangle choke. Okay, submission. Yeah. So it seems like her submission game is a little bit underrated here. So and Kaitlin has been submitted before, although it's been quite a while. It was Liz Carmouche who submitted her with a rear naked choke. Otherwise, for the most part, Kaitlin just goes in there and throws down. Has a win over Misha Tate early on, long time ago, obviously. I mean, with all due respect, but neither one of these girls is spectacular. So what's your thoughts? I got Kaitlin Young, though, in a close decision.
Yeah, both these girls are older than I thought. Kaitlin's 35, Cindy's 36. But in women's MMA, you can get away with being that old. We've seen Julia Budd have success still, Alexis Davis. So this should be a really competitive fight. I didn't know who Kaitlin Young was when I did the research. She's kind of an unknown. I was thinking it was there was a Kaitlin that fought in the UFC. And I
Kaitlin Vieira.
No, not Kaitlin Vieira. There was another one that was really unsuccessful in the UFC. But it wasn't her. Kaitlin Young, when's the last time she fought? 2020. She did get a fight in Invicta. Dominated, actually. Got a 30-26 on 2 scorecards. She got that loss over Pam Sorensen. It was a championship fight. She actually got dominated, too. She lost 2 10-8 rounds. She did beat Faith McMaw by a knockout in round 3. I think the longer this fight goes, it benefits Kaitlin Young.
Yep.
But the first 2 rounds are going to be very competitive. Cindy's going to be going for finishes. She's got a 81% finishing rate for women's MMA. That's very high. 8 out of 16 in round 1, 50%. She has lost plus 235 underdog and a minus. How do you lose by a minus 210 favorite? Who'd she lose? I'm just going to double check here. She was a minus 210 favorite over Olga Rubin. Oh, no, sorry. Who was she a minus 210 favorite against? Oh, sorry. She won by a minus 210. Okay. Megan Anderson, I don't think that. Yeah, they had odds, and she was an underdog, plus 200. She's an underdog. They both have faced formidable woman opponents. Cindy only losing to Yana Kunitskaya, who we just saw beat Kaitlin Vieira in the UFC. Tanya Evinger, who's actually really scrappy and a good grappling game of her own. Alexis Davis, who we just saw beat Sabina Mazo. She did lose to Olga Rubin, which is kind of a bad loss. It was in Bellator featherweight, and she did lose a split decision, but like you said, she rattled off those 4 wins against
1-4 total.
Carrie Hughes, that's not who is this? Carrie? Okay, no. I was thinking that was Gilbert Melendez's wife, but that's Carrie Melendez, not Carrie Hughes.
Which would not be an impressive win.
Either way, yeah, it'd be better than probably Carrie Hughes, but yeah, I'm trying to like. She does have good wins. She has good losses. I like Cindy as an underdog. Seeing Kaitlin Young at almost a 500 record, really worries me putting any money on her. She loses to the good opponents, and she doesn't have the most notable wins either. Miesha Tate and Julie Kedzie, 11 years ago, she took a big break in MMA. Or no, she hasn't really taken a break, but she just, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like she ever took it 100% seriously. Cindy, if you watch the PFL interviews, it's a very sad story that she has. She actually broke out in tears, and I think she's fighting for a lot more here. I know you shouldn't fight with emotions, but she's I don't know. I think she's coming in here. It's now or never. 36 years old. Kaitlin Young has been there, done that. 11 and 10. I think the weigh-ins are going to tell us a lot. I'm going to go Cindy at underdog odds.
All right. Well, maybe we might still have a perfect card at that point, or maybe but after that fight, one of us will no longer.
Yeah. Let's wait till the weigh-in photos. I'll message you and let you know.
Yeah. Well, at this point, I'm on Kaitlin Young. So
because there was that one girl that looked like a stripper at the fucking Bellator weigh-ins, and I picked against her right away. Jessica Borga. I'm like, as soon as I saw her, I'm like, I'm picking against this woman.
Always a good point. Next fight, heavyweight division. Ante Deljia is back, taking on Bruno Henrique Cappelozza. Coming up from 205, Bruno is. Bruno's last fight was against Yuri Prochazka. Eventually, I'll learn how to say Yuri's name.
Yuri Prochazka.
Yeah, eventually I'll learn how to say his name. But Bruno has not fought since 2018. Another 2018 guy. So it's been 3 years now. And he's taking on and before that, for the most part, went in there and either got finished by punches or would finish you by punches, and usually it'll be in round one. In this fight, he's taking on Ante Deljia, 17-3. He's trained by, I believe Mirko Krokop, yep, and Gladiator. 30 years old, looks like he's 45. 6'5", 17-3, really good looking guy here. Put away Ole Thompson in his last fight, but before that, he was in the PFL where he dominated Carl Semyon-Tafa pretty handily. His only loss in his last 10 being to Marcin Tybura, and it was a leg injury. Other than that, as a win over Valentino Varim. Not the greatest level of competition. Ricardo Prazel, he took his O away from him over in Ryzen. A good 6'8", tall jiu-jitsu guy who is able to really control. Bruno is, like I said, a light heavyweight coming up. Hasn't fought in 3 years. He's only 6'2". I think that I'm going to keep this one pretty short and sweet. I think Ante Deljia does what he wants and gets a knockout in round one. I think probably ground and pound.
Yeah, Ante Deljia is definitely the PFL. Actually, he's only 1-0 in PFL, but I thought he was more PFL experienced. But he's more experienced overall. He's got 20 professional fights. Bruno has 15 professional fights. Bruno has only won by knockout. He's never won by a decision. He's never won by a submission. He can go late into fights. You can never underestimate him. Even if you go into round 3, he has that knockout possibility. He's got 3 out of 10 round 3 finishes. So 30% of his wins are in round 3. He lost to our boy Yuri Prochazka, who just cashed for us.
Yes, sir.
He lost to Lucas Rosa, who is a very unknown fighter, and Devonnie Martins Jr. he beat by a knockout also in round 1, but all these are 3+ years ago. We have to take that into account. Ante Deljia has fought a lot more recent. Well, not a lot more recent, but like a year and a half ago, he fought in KSW.
Yep.
He took on Ole Thompson, a short notice Ole Thompson, but got the job done. Round 2 knockout. He's got that one win in PFL where he dominated his opponent 30-26. That opponent also came in short notice. So I want to say it is a good win at the end of the day, but the guy came in short notice. Ricardo Prezale, he won by a unanimous decision, so we know this guy can go 3 hard rounds. I'm definitely going Ante Deljia here.
Yep.
Unless Bruno gets that, unexpected, I didn't see that coming knockout, because he does have 10 knockout wins. Has Ante ever lost by? Yeah, he's lost by 2 knockouts. One was a leg injury, so I don't really count that as a official knockout.
Mm-hmm.
So one knockout out of 20 fights. That's really rare that he's going to get knocked out. I'm going to go Ante Deljia by. How is he going to win here? Probably by a submission. I'm going to say a submission.
Okay, I said ground and pound. Minus 450 to minus 500, depending on your site. Plus 3.
Oh, what?
Plus 380, plus 350 on Bruno. Wow. Not too surprised by those odds, if I'm being honest.
Maybe we can get inside the distance by fight day.
Yeah, I haven't been able to get too many props on PFL.
Last week I couldn't get any.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the end of the prelims. It's interesting. To me. It's interesting that Deljia is on the prelims here. But and that they're going to put this fight of Pacheco and Pajić on the main card. But this does bring us.
Larissa Pacheco is a former title finalist, so that might make sense.
Yeah, I guess. Larissa Pacheco.
My dog is. I don't know what she's doing. I'll be right back.
It's okay. And this takes us to our next fight back at 155 between Larissa Pacheco and Julija Pajić. Julija fighting out of Croatia, 23 and a half years old. One of the most interesting things I found about her, she fights out of American top team Zakayev. Julija fought a male doorman, so you can find that on YouTube. I'll have to ask Brandon when he gets back if he happened to see that fight, but did tool him up. 23 years old, 6 foot out of a 6 foot German, fight out of Germany. 3-0 as a pro, not including her win over a doorman. All 3 being finishes, 2 by TKO and 1 by triangle armbar. Total record 0-1 over 3 opponents. She's now taking a huge step up in competition, taking on Larissa Pacheco. Larissa is PFL finalist, PFL finalist at 155, 26 years old, 5'7", and has been one of the few girls to fight several times at lightweight in the female division. Went 2-2 last in her PFL 2019 season, losing to Kayla Harrison by decision twice. So not getting finished, the only fighter to say that who's faced Kayla Harrison. And she's done it twice now. And then she got a finish of Bobby Joe Dazio to take her O from her by an armbar. And then she defeated Sarah Kaufman, the wrestler, as well. I just think that this is a huge experience edge for Larissa. And she has a grappling edge as well. I think for Julija, she has to use her striking and catch Larissa early and put her away. Otherwise, this is Larissa rinse and repeat, either a submission or a decision. But I just think that overall, Larissa should be able to take this one. Experience and method of victory being just the wrestling cage control. So possible submission, but I'll just say Larissa wins this and keep it simple. Julija, I don't know if you got to see, but Julija fought a male doorman. Did you get to watch that on YouTube?
No, you you did tell me about it, and
it's her best fight.
I wasn't sure how to take that. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah,
male doorman.
She beat like a 55-year-old out of shape doorman for like 2 rounds.
The girl fighting Larissa Pacheco.
Yes, Julija Pajić. But I just think going from 0-1 on your 3 previous opponents, who she put them all away in the first round, so she didn't even get to really test herself against these unproven girls, and now taking a step up to a 13-4 girl who's gone to a decision with Kayla Harrison twice. Kayla Harrison has finished every other one of her opponents. I just think Larissa looks like a star here and cruises. It's just, is she get the finish or not? That's the only question.
Yeah, Larissa is the only fighter that kind of gave Kayla Harrison a bit of trouble. Kayla Harrison also referenced that Larissa Pacheco is probably going to be the finalist again in this tournament, although there is a lot of unknown women fighters that we aren't aware of, and they could really make a name for themselves. When $1 million is on the line, a lot of fighters fight for $1 million, guys. Like that's life-changing money. So, and they're still paying their athletes in these regular season fights pretty handsomely, I heard. So they still got the win bonus at hand. Julija has a crazy neck tattoo. It kind of scares me. She looks very intimidating. She's got big arms. She looks like a scary woman for sure, but I think Larissa Pacheco is the more decorated MMA fighter. She's got like 5 times the MMA experience. If it wasn't for Jessica Andrade and Germaine de Randamie, who everybody knows, she'd still be in the UFC. Like, what kind of matchmaking is that? The girl comes in, UFC debut, and faces Jessica Andrade, and then her next fight is Germaine de Randamie. She got the Sam Hughes treatment. Sam Hughes just fought Tecia Torres and Luma Lukbumi. Like, it's not really fair. Larissa Pacheco,
and then on The Ultimate Fighter, she lost to Macy Chiasson, who was looking like a killer until she lost her O.
Yeah, and Macy Chiasson, one more win, she could be fighting for the friggin' Bantamweight Championship. So she also has a win over current UFC Bantamweight, I believe, Carol Rosa. She might be a flyweight.
I believe she's a flyweight now.
Oh, no, she is a bantamweight. She beat Jocelyn Edwards by a decision. I remember that fight. That was a good fight. But that's a very good win. Carol Rosa, that's actually Jessica Andrade's training partner. So, in a way, she get a little revenge over that. She beat Sarah Kaufman, who I rate really highly. Sarah Kaufman is 21-5. She's like an Alexis Davis level. So, if you're beating Sarah Kaufman by a 3-round decision, and I think she won every round. Let me double check.
And Bobby Joe's a good 6-foot-tall, 5-0 fighter herself as well. Good win there.
Bobby's only lost to Larissa, I'm pretty sure, in PFL.
Kayla as well.
Who else?
Kayla Harrison.
Did she fight Kayla, though?
Yes, she fought Kayla
Harrison. Yeah. So you really can't take those 2 losses into great effect there. Like, she's losing to the best of the best. I don't know. I don't think Bobby Joe is in the tournament this year, unless she's fighting on the next card.
I don't believe so.
No, she's not. No,
that's
kind of weird. But yeah, I definitely got Larissa Pacheco. She's going to rebound from this Kayla Harrison loss. I think she's been exclusively on judo defense because she's going to expect to see Kayla again sometime in this tournament. She's got a high finishing rate. 12 out of her 13 wins are by finish. So that's very outstanding for a woman fighter. 92% finishing rate. 7 out of 13 in round 1. 3 out of 13 in round 2. 2 out of 13 in round 3. So she can finish the fight whenever it's taking place. Julija just looks a little too jacked. I think she's more worried about her a better intimidating figure than anything. I think she's going to get submitted here. She's very inexperienced. I'm going to say submission round 1 or 2.
Fair enough. And Pacheco right now with no props, minus 495, 500, plus 360 on Julija. So, but it is my most confident pick.
I'm definitely going to parlay Larissa.
Yeah, so far on the card. We'll move on to Mohammed Usman, brother of Kamaru, fighting at heavyweight, taking on Brandon Sayles. Mohammed Usman 7-1, Brandon Sayles 5-1. Brandon Sayles 40 years old now, 6'5", heavyweight, has been off for a few years. In fact, since January 2018, so nearly since 2017. He did get a second-round stoppage of a 1-1 guy in Dexter Carthen. Beat Adrian Henderson, an 8-2 guy. Robert Neal, he won by Americana. His only loss being to former UFC fighter Chase Gormley in a close decision. Definitely, seems
both
like
guys have lost to UFC competitors.
Yeah, they both have lost it. But yeah, Sayles seems like a guy with good hands and seems to be tough to take down. But 40 years old, but he's a heavyweight. So Mohammed Usman fighting out Fortis MMA, it says here. I'm not sure if that's current or not.
Renzo Gracie Academy as well with Curtis Blades.
Yeah, 7-1. Only loss being a decision to Dante O'Malley's in his 4th professional fight. Otherwise, he's gotten finishes in 5 of 7 wins. Has good top control, like absolutely well-conditioned athlete. Hits very hard, as you can see from the first round knockouts and everything. But it's the heavyweights, so you never really know. And Sayles is 5-1. He's only lost to Gormley, and it was by a decision. He has had a few guys try to take him down in fights I was able to see, and he looked tough to take down, and could have some possible issues for Usman. I'm not sure the gas tank of Usman, even though he's been to decision a couple times. I just think it's a little bit of a question with his body type and body style, and if Sayles can land on him, there is that issue. But I'm going to go Usman here. I'll just say decision. I want to see how he looks. I'm just against a little bit more of a challenging competition because so far he hasn't been super tested.
Yeah, I definitely got Mohammed Usman here. Kamaru Usman's brother, training at a Fortis MMA, Rufus Sport. He's previously trained at Renzo Gracie Academy, so he really makes his rounds at the elite gyms of the United States. So he definitely gets a lot of rounds in with good opponents. He's previously trained with Francis Ngannou, Curtis Blades. He gets rounds in with all the guys at Fortis MMA, Uriah Hall. There's a heavyweight at Fortis MMA. I can't remember, but yeah, he's definitely getting good training in with very elite opposition or elite MMA athletes. Mohammed Usman 7-1, Brandon Sayles 5-1. Brandon Sayles has been a professional for 11 years, but only has 6 fights. So that kind of makes me think, how serious are you taking this MMA journey? You know what I mean? 6 fights, so that means he's only fighting once every 2 years. He's got a military combative style, so he obviously has years in the military, which I respect. Brandon Sayles, salute. I'm really, honestly, I love the military, man. I give huge respect for the people that have served. But I think the inactivity and the evolution of MMA is at a different level right now, and Mohammed Usman is getting rounds in with the very best that UFC has to offer at this moment. And Brandon Sayles is training out of Fort Benning MMA, fighting out of Georgia, born in Hawaii. He hasn't fought in 3 years. I just don't see his style beating Mohammed. Mohammed Usman is nicknamed the Motor. That tells you everything you need to know. The Motor, he's going to be going all 3 rounds, 15 minutes as hard as he can. It's either he gets a unanimous decision win or a knockout or submission. He's got 2 Kimuras, so he could legitimately submit this guy as well. I see Mohammed Usman winning any way he wants. Yeah. He's in good hands with Ali Abdulaziz. He's got his brother Kamaru Usman. He comes from Nigeria. I just love Mohammed Usman here. I think he does what he has to do and submits, knockouts, or decisions. I don't know, but he's gonna get the job done.
Yeah, and I like this piece as a parlayable piece, minus 350. I think it's a really great piece. I'm surprised that the odds are that close with the name and with just overall skill matchup here, but we will take it. Next fight here,
Brandon Sayles has won by a minus 275 favorite before. Let me just double check who that was. Oh, Imani Lee, and guess what his record is? 2-4.
So, yeah, but he was an underdog against a guy like that. So next fight here.
Oh yeah.
Next fight here, back at women's lightweight. Not quite. We can't quite say these odds are great because it's Kayla Harrison fighting against Mariana Morais. I don't think we need to waste a lot of time here on this. Mariana Morais is 16-10. She's 5'4". She fought her last fight at 125. I'm not going to really waste a lot of time. We talked about Kayla Harrison at the beginning. Kayla Harrison's world-class judo player. Kayla Harrison's going to submit her in round 1 with a rear naked choke or an armbar, and that's that. And she's not going to mess with her. It's 6 points for Kayla Harrison. It's unbettable even if you do inside the distance.
Yeah, listen to these odds. Her last 5 fights, minus 1,700, minus 1,400, minus 1,600, minus 1,700, minus 1,300. So how are you making money off this woman? It doesn't make sense.
You gotta just play does she go to decision or not? I'm sure the decisions against Pacheco were close to even money.
Yeah, and she did. She beat Larissa Pacheco 50-43 on one of those scorecards. So
that's my point. So you were sweating the decision, but you got it.
She's gonna cry if she wins a decision. I'm telling you right now, she's gonna be upset with herself.
She's finishing a flyweight who's fighting at lightweight.
Yeah, but she's so hard on herself, man. Like, even her last fight, she cried because she's like, oh, I should have did better. Like, she'll have, like, the most outstanding performance, and she'll cry. I don't understand
is there anything else you kind of got to say about this fight?
Kayla Harrison's always improving. Even if she submits her in round 1, she's not going to be impressed. So, Kayla Harrison, any way she wants.
Yeah. And the odds here, I don't mean to rush through a fight, especially with someone as good as her, but there's nothing to talk about here. Kayla Harrison is a minus 2,000. 2,475. She's up to a minus 3,000 on some sites.
I have minus 2,000 on my bookie.
I've got on Bovada, it's at minus 2,000. I'm seeing it up to minus 3,000 on bookmakers.com. That's why.
Marina Morais did win a decision over who I arguably think beat Julia Budd, Dana Silva. So Marina Morais does have that. She's 26 fights in, only 26 years old. She's still so young and unproven. Like,
it's just
so many submission wins. She could get a submission. I'm not counting that out. Don't parlay Kayla Harrison minus 2,000. Don't.
No, obviously, just leave it alone. We're moving on to.
People still do.
Yeah, we're gonna move on. That's one of our shortest breakdowns, but it is what it is. I mean, there's just
$5 on Marina. Honestly, why not?
Yeah.
What if she gets a submission?
Next fight here is at
3 arm bars.
Next fight here is the main event. Fabricio Werdum taking on Renan Ferreira. This is where I'd suggest maybe putting $5 down on a finish for the underdog. Maybe that's a little better use of your money than
I don't know.
Renan Ferreira, 6'2", 6'10", 31-year-old heavyweight fighting on Team Nogueira. He has not fought since his win over Jared Vanderaa back in August of 2019. Got a triangle choke in round 2. He's the only guy to submit Jared Vanderaa, so it was a really entertaining fight up until then. His loss to Brett Martin, he was winning that fight. He was stuffing every takedown from the 7-1 Brett Martin. Landed some really good shots, most of which were to the side of the head, in my opinion, not the back of the head. Brett Martin did end up moving his head into the right spot. Renan Ferreira hit his back of his head multiple times, got DQ'd for that. But before that, Renan Ferreira basically TKOs for the most part. He has a submission loss to Vinicius Moreira, though, and that is hard to look past. We've seen how Vinicius Moreira looked, maybe one of the worst guys ever to perform in the UFC when he got there, with how he performed. I think he landed like 3 significant strikes in his 4 UFC bouts, I'm pretty sure, total.
Went 0-4 in the UFC.
Yeah. So for Fabricio Werdum, we know him, 43 years old now, 6'4", weighed in for his last fight at 242, submitted Gustafsson, who looked like he literally rolled off his couch.
Did you bet him as an underdog?
I bet the submission of Werdum.
There you go, buddy. I cashed out on that hard.
Plus 550.
Man.
It had to be done. But before that, lost to Volkov in the 4th round. But definitely had a lot of trouble with the taller 6'10", but much better striker in Volkov than Renan. Lost a split decision to Kolesnyk. He's been all over the place. We know Werdum. This is one for me that I want to wait till weigh-ins, because Werdum has looked atrocious at a few of his weigh-ins lately. And I do not know how motivated he is coming into this PFL run. I get it. There's $1 million. I get it. There's $1 million on the line. So I do believe that he's going to put his best foot forward. I believe him putting his best foot forward against a 6-2 Ferreira, who's been submitted by Moreira, has taken a lot of time off, has some questionable IQ, and also he is taller, but I think is very takedownable by Werdum here. I just think that Verdum's size or strength and skills on the ground are just going to be too much. If Werdum really comes in looking like a garbage can, though, I'm not afraid to bet Ferreira. This is one I want to wait to weigh-ins to see. But as of now, I've got Werdum by submission. I can't take a guy who's lost by submission to Moreira to be able to survive submissions with Werdum. It's a little bit of MMA math here, but it's honest. He is training on Nogueira, so I'm sure he's getting some good rounds in with very good jiu-jitsu players, but I got to go with Werdum here. But we saw how Pettis looked and a few other UFC guys like Steven Seiler, but Werdum is a level above here for me. So I got Werdum by submission.
Yeah, there's also an inactivity difference.
Yep.
Renan Ferreira hasn't fought for 2 years. Fabricio is coming off a suspension in the UFC, which was kind of controversial. I don't know. Like he denies whatever he took, so I don't know what. There's been a lot of false tests in the UFC. So he did come back a little sluggish against Alexei Oleinik. I picked Alexei to win that, so I was happy. But it was a split decision loss. And then he beat Alexander Gustafsson, where I was on Fabricio in that fight. So
me too.
Fabricio has been very nice to me lately because I cashed on him. I cashed Alexei as an underdog, and then I got Fabricio as an underdog. It sucks that he's such a big favorite here. Renan is another very long, lanky heavyweight Alexander Gustafsson was a pretty long, another long athlete, 6'5", 79-inch reach. I think Fabricio, I heard an interview with him saying how ready he is. This is his last hoo-wah. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
the last time.
Last hurrah is how they say it here in America. Hurrah. It's hurrah. It's last hurrah.
Exactly what Aaron said. And
hurrah. No, you were not in the. Just go continue, Brandon.
That's how us Canadians say it. Like he's got to do it now or never. I don't know if he left the UFC on his own or that was his last UFC.
I don't think they wanted to pay the man what he wanted to be paid at this point in his career.
Yeah, because he's coming off a win and he gets cut, so that's a little strange. Maybe the UFC didn't find any value in him at this point, but he's coming in here PFL. I'm very excited for his PFL debut. Fabricio Werdum's been one of my favorite fighters. He's hilarious. He's fucking submission for days. He can do whatever he wants to you on the ground.
Those submissions aren't going anywhere in his 40s either. It's his bread and butter.
Yeah, exactly. Those skills don't disappear. If anything, he's going to be getting better as a wizard. Like, wizards only get older and they get better. So he's a BJJ wizard. And at the same time, I got to tell you this. I have it here. Fabricio, even though he's a jiu-jitsu master, he's got the fourth most significant strikes landed in UFC history, 890, and fifth most strikes landed in UFC history, 1,170. So that's in history. That's every single UFC heavyweight fighter that has ever competed in the UFC. And he's got the fourth most significant strikes, and that's a BJJ fighter.
And he has a lot of
experience.
And he has a lot of experience.
Knockout, doesn't he?
And he has a lot of experience against taller, lengthier strikers too, and Travis Browns of the world, Volkov's, Alistair Overeem. Yeah, for sure. I think that
it's going to be a submission round one, in my opinion. He's going to take the least damage possible, get out of here unscathed.
And you want to get the most points here. So we're in agreement here. I think just really quickly, if I were to do a parlay, which I have to wait on Bovada till the night of the fights. They don't let me parlay till the night of the fights. But my quick parlay here, and then we're gonna say goodbye for the day, and we'll be back tomorrow with our Bellator breakdown at 3:30, and then UFC breakdown at 3:30 on Thursday because of PFL. So 3:30 the next 2 days as well. So Kevin, Bunny, Edwin, Aman, anybody else who's joining us, hopefully we'll see you tomorrow for the Bellator breakdown. Keep this money train rolling. For tonight, or for today, quick parlay that I would do: Usman, Pacheco. I would do Deljia and Werdum. Those four, but you can put a solid investment down and get probably plus 200 odds or so.
Say it again. So you have Usman.
I have Usman. I have Pacheco. I have Deljia. And then I have Werdum. It's my four favorites.
Deljia? Oh, Ante Deljia. Yep. And Werdum.
Yeah.
Let me double check here. So Aaron's going to put those four fights together, make a plus 165 underdog parlay.
Yeah. I just think, and then, I do really like that. And then I probably will put a couple down and try to catch Kaitlin Young as well in one of those maybe. But for Aaron the dog, for Brandon,
I got some stuff. What?
Oh, go ahead. I didn't know you had anything you wanted. I thought you charged for your information.
Well, I do, but
so don't give it away for free.
I'm just looking right now. Larissa Pacheco to not go the distance is plus 110. So if you can get that prop odd, definitely hit that a bit. Okay. Mohammed Usman fight to go the distance is plus 350. Definitely a
worthy bet.
A piece that you can definitely hit and make plus 350, plus 3.5 times your money back. That's very likely. And Kayla Harrison fight goes the distance is plus 425. So if Marina can outlast her judo throws, and she can't elbow, remember, so she can only punch. So I honestly think Kayla's going to win a decision here. These prop odds are definitely worth laying a little bit of money. Plus 425, plus 350, plus 110. Once they come out,
what's Fabricio by submission?
Kayla by submission?
Kayla by submission and Fabricio by submission. Where are those two?
They only have one prop odd out. It's only fight to go the distance or fight doesn't go the distance.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, you just hit the fight doesn't go the distance or...
Yeah.
But it just, the odds are crazy. Fight doesn't go the distance for Kayla is minus 675.
Yeah, no thank you.
Screw that.
Well, we'll see what comes out close to the fights. But for Aaron, for Brandon of MMA Wagers, until tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 12:30 Pacific, we'll be back with the Bellator preview breakdown for Friday's card, and then Thursday UFC breakdown for a lower level UFC card.
Be made. So much money.
So much money. So for Aaron, for Brandon, until next time, we are out. Keep taking care of each other out there. Peace.